Nerd Novice is entirely supported by our never-ending quest to discover all things nerdy, and by listeners like you.
Please consider lending your help by making a contribution at patreon.com/nerdnovice.
Jim,
Megan,
you did not tell me how scary this movie was.
it's a little terrifying.
You didn't warn me. I didn't know that there would be like aliens jumping out. I mean, seriously, it kind of frightened me. I watched it alone at night, and I had to get under the covers.
I got texts from you that were a cry for help, if not moral support.
I needed it.
Yeah.
It was like Alien, the movie, which I've never seen, but I probably won't, because when I was little, I went to Disney World on the ride, and it scared me very much. You know that one where they like blow air in the back of your neck and
Ooh, yeah.
like the yeah. So, anyway, hi. What episode of Nerd Novice are we on right now?
That's a real good question, and I wish I knew the answer to that.
I think it's 53.
I think you're right.
Should we check?
Let's check.
We're sure. Are we?
We're sure.
I'm pretty
sure.
We're sure.
Yeah, it's 53.
We're sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Things are a little different now.
They are.
Between us.
Yeah.
And between us and our listeners.
Yeah.
Because guess what?
So many changes.
You're now viewers too. Because YouTube is a thing that we just learned about a week ago.
It's crazy. Videos on the internet? What?
It's insane.
I mean, like, who thought of that?
Yeah.
It's surprising to me, really. Yeah. So, we thought it might be a good way to...
I mean, here I am playing Zork. Right. Over here just minding my own business. Turn left. Walk 10 feet.
I know.
And you guys are all like, hi, we have HD video on the internet now. And I'm like, what?
And it plays as you play it. Like, you don't have to wait for it to load and all that crap.
I don't have to download it to multiple floppy disks or anything.
I know.
It's crazy.
I feel like I've been living under a rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
And it's even in color, too, which is an extra bonus.
It's true. I like your Star Wars poster.
Hey, thank you very much. I'm quite proud of that poster, actually. I haven't gotten it framed, and I've only owned it for about 25 years. But
no, it looks cool without being framed, because it's like, do you have it up with like pins, push pins?
It's no, it's actually just leaning. It's on cardboard, and it has like a plastic wrap around it to protect it. But it's really just leaning against the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it looks
cool.
Thank
you, though. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
It's a real one too. If I can elaborate briefly,
please do.
It is an authentic movie poster from when Star Wars was re-released in theaters.
Wow.
In the late 70s, before Empire came out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that?
I bought it at the Eastwood Mall at a collectibles expo.
Nice.
For $50 in the 1990 early 90s.
That's like a normal price of a piece of art. That's crazy. That's not even that much.
Yeah, and I'll bet you it's worth like $53 now. So
maybe $53.50.
Maybe
you could get some change.
Maybe. Yeah. So that's another thing we should talk about. Change.
Yeah.
As in spare change.
Yeah.
Your spare change, people.
Okay, think about this. You go to Starbucks or wherever, you get your coffee. Maybe get a tall instead of a grande and give us the extra 70 cents. That's brilliant, really.
Oh, so good.
It's so good. What do you think?
So good.
I think
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And if only we had an easy way for people to do that.
The internet is just so lacking in so many useful tools. Yeah. I mean, if only there was a website that you could go on.
And you could, be a patron of the arts, so to speak.
You could be a patron on the Patreon the arts.
Patreon the arts.
You could. I don't know where I'm going with that.
I think you're onto something.
I might be.
I
might be Patreon to something.
And there's those .com things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if somebody went to patreon.com
Mm-hmm.
/Nerd Novice,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the name of this show. And you guys could throw us like $1 every time we make an episode.
Right.
And so here's how that benefits us. First of all, it benefits you because we have an excuse and incentive to make a show.
Yeah, that's
You're
true.
only giving us like $1 a show. So like
Our motivation is only so much to drive us forward.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're actually slothfully lazy people. And the only way.
Slothfully.
Yeah. Swathfully and slothfully. I can't find my words today.
It's fine. I had such a hard time yesterday when I was teaching. It couldn't even happen. So it's all good.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing though, is like you're hardly gonna notice $1 per episode. It's like, but then when we get like 1 million people watching the show every week,
we notice the
swimming
bucks.
in piles of gold.
We'll notice
like
the
Scrooge
bucks.
McDuck.
I will do that. If guys, consider this a reward. If we get $1 million, I will convert it into gold coins and then throw it up and laugh maniacally and tape it.
Yes.
I will do that.
I will lay in a bed of $100 bills. In a Speedo.
Oh my God.
And big snow angels in it.
Guys, $100 bills.
So that's the incentive level. I mean,
this is a genuine offer, people. I'll impersonate Scrooge McDuck.
Sure.
I'll do it.
Yep.
For $1 million, I'll do it.
You could get a prosthetic bill.
I know. I'll put a bill on and everything.
Yeah.
Does he have a monocle? He might have a monocle. Maybe when he's
like
reading.
Should. Yeah.
I feel like, or when he's inspecting his money.
Right.
Yeah. Or a magnifying glass, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what this video podcast is not sponsored by? The maker of this soft drink. So yeah, I'm not going to show you.
That's why you use mugs when you're drinking things. Although I only have coffee, and it's sad because I don't have much left.
Well, one of our dreams is to make Nerd Novice mugs.
Oh yeah,
and so we can have our own product placement.
Imagine this mug saying
mornings
something,
be suck.
And yeah, it would say mornings be suck because that was actually I was thinking about it and I looked it up. That's the title of our, I know off the top of my head, 45th episode. Thank you very much.
Oh.
And that was a funny thing that we said, and so we want to have mugs that say mornings be suck because I would love to drink coffee and think about how much mornings be suck.
Yes.
At the same time. So if you do support us and lend us a financial hand, then you can have a mornings be suck mug, and that would be cool.
Yes, it would.
We would like to give you
the best.
We'd like to take them to conventions and dude, William Shatner's going to be at the is it the Columbus one or the Cleveland one that he's coming to? The Wizard World. Yeah. And so is James Marsters.
Yep.
Who is Spike.
Yes.
Although he doesn't have bleach blonde hair.
Spike is the best
ever. What was that, like Dorian mode or something?
Yeah.
Lydian mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, and who else is going to be there? I forget, but we want to go.
Yeah.
And maybe we could give him a mornings be suck like a vampire. We could give Spike a mornings be suck mug and be like, because you're a vampire, get it?
Yeah. Yep.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, so that's one of the things that we want to do to expand the outreach of the show and expand what we cover and how we cover is we want to get to some of the conventions in Ohio and potentially abroad at some point. And do shows from conventions and collect little sound bites and interviews and do all sorts of crazy stuff.
We are for sure doing some conventioning in November here in Cleveland. We should start talking about that because well, technically the fee is due tomorrow and I have to pay it today. So we are doing it. We are doing
donate money.
We've been approved, so it's all good. But we are going to be at Genghis Con Cleveland, which is a DIY comic book convention that has grown every year. It's at a bigger venue this year. I believe it's at the Lake Erie building, which is a thing that I don't really know about, but it's there. And so we'll post up links, and you guys can come find us. It's free to the public, so you can show up, buy some comics from people, buy some Mornings We Suck mugs from us if we hopefully get them by then, because hopefully we get enough donations from you guys, and maybe listen to us. Maybe you could even like say something on the podcast.
Yeah,
we could even hold a mic up to your face, and you could like record things. So
we could have listener liners.
Yeah.
For the show.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Man, we'll do it. And so this is I can't remember the date, but you should remember it this way anyway, because every year it's the Sunday after Thanksgiving. So whatever that Sunday is this year, that's when it is. So you should know that. Yeah. And you should know it next year too, because hopefully we'll be there forever and ever. Amen. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's our first convention. Yeah. I'm excited.
You know, just something just occurred to me while you were talking about that.
What?
You know, since this is
how my voice is so
first...
wonderful and sultry, and
it is
how I could use more coffee.
And truth be told, I was actually thinking about how awesome your video looks and how nicely decorated your room looks.
I made that.
Whereas, did you really make that?
Yeah, it's not as big as it's going to be eventually. You want a close up?
Yeah.
Keep talking, dude.
What
were you saying?
So, you know, you look like, if I may say so, you know, your whole situation looks adorable over there.
Oh, thanks.
And I'm over here like, you know, I look like flannel McBurley sack.
You're like official nerd guy with the Star Wars poster and everything.
Yeah, well,
I'm like grandma with a crochet thing and a embroidered piece of art on the wall.
Let me tell you about the time
I watched the X-Files movie. I'm truly a novice in the nerd world.
I sent a text message to my friend Jim.
YouTube people.
I'm afraid of the aliens. It sounds a little more like Bill Cosby than an old lady.
It does, yeah. I don't think it really.
And then I had a pudding pop. Rudy!
Holy crap! I don't think I've ever heard you do that before.
I've never done that before in my life, and I should never do it again.
That was so good. You just need a fancy sweater. Fancy sweater.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! You know what else would be cool that we could have?
What?
Stickers that say Nerd Novice, so I could put one on my. Because this is ripping. I need new stickers on my water bottle. Yeah. So if we had more donations, we could have stickers.
Mm-hmm. Everybody loves swag.
Yeah. And in fact, if you donate more than $1 an episode, I'll mail you a sticker and a handcrafted letter.
I think that sounds fair.
I will. I'll write out a letter and mail it to you.
You guys hear that?
Mm-hmm.
More than $1 an episode. You get a handwritten letter. None of that, stamped signature crap like you get when you send Barack Obama a wedding invitation.
Mm-hmm.
And he responds back and says, I can't come, but here's a photocopy of my name.
Yeah.
You're going to get handcrafted, artisanal postage and a sticker.
Yep.
From Megan.
It's the truth.
And I will lick the envelopes.
I think my envelopes have the peel off.
And I'm going to lick them real wet, you guys. Real wet.
Okay.
I'm going to eat some tortillas, some nachos before I lick them. So, yeah. So that's just the most disincentive ever.
Well, it's okay.
To not give us a dime, but
that's all right. So anyway, enough chat about money.
Yeah. So we're here.
That's enough.
Yeah, we are gathered here today, ladies and gentlemen, to talk about X-Files: Fight the Future, which is the 1998 motion picture installment of the X-Files franchise.
Right.
Besides being scared, what are your general impressions?
Okay, so I was just thinking, and how I've seen a lot. No, well, if you think about the whole series, I haven't really seen a lot of X-Files, but I've seen enough.
You got to commit to the bit. Bear with me here.
Sorry.
Continue.
I'm really
sorry.
bad at not laughing at things that are funny. So I've seen enough of it to know that. Remember how we had that conversation about how X-Files does a really good job of kind of like implying that maybe there are aliens, implying that maybe it's a conspiracy, but never like fully giving you the total answer. But they still give you enough hints that you feel like you're getting some satisfaction from, it's not like Lost where every episode tells you nothing.
Right.
Sorry. And I was pretty surprised at how blatant and frank they were about aliens in this movie.
Yeah, this is like full frontal alien.
It was like they are here and they're attacking us.
Right.
How did they just go back to like? I mean, like when did this? I don't know if I should ask you this because I don't know if you know. When did the movie line up with the series?
It was between seasons. Between like seasons 5 and 6?
Oh, that
or
late.
Seasons 4 and 5.
Okay.
It was really the show was still very popular.
Yeah.
When they did it. It came out in 90? Yeah, it came out in 98. So yeah, that was like, between 4 and 5 or 5 and 6. I think 5 and 6.
Okay. So when they go to the season after the movie, do they use the movie as like part of, they refer to it sometimes or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's crazy though how it's just like it opens with like, oh, aliens. Hey, they're right here. Hey, like we actually found the place where they keep them. Like all of a sudden it just seemed, I don't know, maybe if I was watching more of the seasons leading up to it, I wouldn't have been so surprised by its frankness, but that was my first impression, was just like, I didn't know they were ever that upfront in the series.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things where you finally what's the thing I'm looking for, like if you look at like Jaws or the original Alien movie, which I know you mentioned you haven't seen, like you go practically the whole movie without seeing the monster.
Right.
There's so many like monster movies that are like that. And like, you see it kind of at the very end, or they even still barely show it because it doesn't look real or whatever. There are lots of reasons why movies or TV shows did it that way. And that metaphor really applies here to the X-Files, where it's like, no, we're not going to hide monsters in the shadows. Here's the alien. It's
here's
here,
the ginormous ship. Like, here's like they actually have a virus. Like there's tangible things that have to do with them being there. And even Scully sees them. So how does she even have an excuse to be a skeptic anymore?
Well, she kind of sees them. She's like still. She sees.
She's all like, yeah. She just got out of the pod, kind of.
Right.
And she's all like loopy or whatever.
Yeah.
But she says, "I saw it" at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. And well, I think what it does is it feeds in subsequent seasons of the show. It feeds, even though the aliens are real and they're here, it does still help feed the conspiracy angle in terms of, okay, there is a government cover-up and they're trying to hide this. And then
it does feed that hugely, because the whole point is that the government is hiding it like crazy in that movie.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a really kind of crazy thing if you think about it in that regard. And the other thing that was just really unique about this at the time and still now, 15 years later or whatever, looking at it within the context of the show, is I can't think of, other than Star Trek, I can't think of any situation where you have had, well, let me put it this way. I think this is the first situation where you had a TV show in the height of its popularity, and then you do a movie, and then you keep making a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a really unique thing. They ended up doing that with South Park around the same time, maybe I think a year later or something. And then they did that with The Simpsons 5 or 6 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
whenever The Simpsons
Wonder if
movie came out.
Highlander would count for that.
Yeah,
But
you know what? I suppose it would,
but it wasn't
but
as
it
like
wasn't,
huge.
at least with that, and even with Star Trek 2, what you could say is that, it was like Connor McLeod while Duncan McLeod was
Right.
a
So it was
TV
kind
show.
of it
So
was spin out.
still not quite the same as what they did with X-Files.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember a lot of excitement around, there was a big season finale on TV, and I was like, okay, now go this summer and see the movie, and then tune in again this fall, and then you can see the fallout from the film.
I think that's a really cool way to keep people interested over the summer, I mean,
Yeah.
it's cool because, well, actually, I was just thinking about what was it that I was thinking about with that? Oh, Castle. So the
Right.
season, there have been a lot of season premieres happening, obviously, like this past couple weeks and everything. And I was watching the Castle one, and I wrote about it on our blog, actually, nerdnovice.com/blog. And I was thinking about how, how like I know Buffy used to do this, and like all sorts of other. This is going to be funny on the audio version of this podcast because no one knows why we're randomly chuckling.
Yeah.
It's because Jim is secretly drinking a beverage. Anyway, we won't tell you what kind of beverage. So, like, how there's that big gap in the summer, and a lot of times they have to somehow, in the TV show, explain why they haven't been there for 3 months or 2 months or whatever. And because, like TV usually follows the timeline of real life, so that when Christmas is around, they can have a Christmassy episode, so it's
Right.
like the same seasons and everything. So they have to explain why they haven't been, following the storyline for 3 months. And like in Buffy, it was easy because they were in school, so they would just be like, oh, yeah, summer vacation, yeah. And but like Castle, they had that whole thing where like he was missing. For apparently it was 2 months, and somehow I missed that. Like it just didn't really cover it very well, and it was just kind of confusing as to how like how was I supposed to know that he was missing for 2 months? I missed it. They must have said it one time, and then they kept talking, and I didn't notice that it was happening. But the X-Files movie coming out in between seasons is a good way to have a storyline during those 3 months or 2 months that you can refer back to, instead of being like, yeah, we've just had a slow summer, no aliens for the past 2
Right.
months. So I mean, I think that's a really cool way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
You bring up a really good point, and it would be interesting to see TV shows, big TV shows, do like a summer, and it wouldn't even have to necessarily be like a huge
It could just be like a
release.
special.
Yeah, or how like you go to the theater and they have like those special like one-time showing deals,
Mm-hmm.
or they'll do like 2 showings of something.
Mm-hmm.
You could even do something like that.
Mm-hmm. Or even like how a lot of times British shows will do like the Christmas special or whatever.
Mhm.
Like just have like a summer like
Right.
hour-long episode, or
Summer
2
theater
hour.
spectacular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That even if
special-
it just airs on TV. I mean,
right.
I think that would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like one of those TV world things that still like, are we still doing that? Or are we still like like covering up the past couple months? That just like in TV land, there's always these weird like things that don't happen in the real, like, oh, I can't find this guy, like where is he? No one can get a hold of him. Like, call his cell phone. Like, people have cell phones now, you know?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
that kind of plot line that's still being used, and people
Yeah.
still make those like silly, oh, we've been slow for 2 months excuses kind of deal. So it would be cool to kind of have a different approach to that.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, that was cool. So one thing about this movie was like, it was talking about the virus. Okay, so the virus was an alien transmitted virus through like that ooziness that was coming out of them or something.
Right. Yeah.
But then the one guy said that it was actually originated from Earth. Like, it was like, he said it was the first being on this planet.
Right. Yeah. Something along the lines of it was one of the first forms of life on Earth.
So it's weird how the caveman in the beginning, like, I don't know, why did they have that scene? Like, they had the scene, it opened up with a caveman and an alien. Like, I don't know why that really applied.
So were they saying that it mutated into a virus because the caveman got it?
I don't know. Is that
maybe that's what?
So what?
I mean, if you look at it at face value, you just think like, well, the alien had this ooze, and then the caveman gets infected by it. But maybe the idea is that it turns into a virus somehow and mutates because, I don't know, I didn't quite, those two things don't quite
because
line up.
Okay, yeah, because it just seemed like a little bit like extraneous, because when the caveman gets infected by it,
right,
he dies.
Well, you have to,
and then it goes to those 3 boys that fall into the same cave, and then the boy gets infected by it. But they could have just started with the 3 boys. Like, it could have just been, I don't know. I don't
Well, you have
understand.
to explain why the ooze is there.
Well, okay, but I don't even remember how the alien got there in the first place. It almost felt like it just started with the alien, like, showed up and he was like, hey,
right,
I'm gonna fight you.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess that's the point is, you know, millions of years ago, there was an alien on Earth, and this caveman gets the virus, and then caveman dies, you know, buried in the ground for millions of years. Kid finds the bones, and then the ooze gets on the kid, and so.
Yeah. There were a lot of characters in this movie that all seemed kind of similar, and it was hard for me to keep track.
Yeah.
Like, all like old men, like old white men. There were a lot of like old I was like, wait, which one is that? There was the old one who was like Kurzweil, and he was a friend of Mulder's dad.
Makes good keyboards, by the way.
Yeah, it's true. Synths, yeah. And he was like a conspiracy theorist, and he wrote books about the apocalypse, and the government was like kind of after him for sharing too much information or something. And so he was trying to help Mulder.
Right.
So there was that guy. And then there was another guy who was like part of the government, and he was the one who got infected, and then they locked him down in that cave, and that was really scary. He was like down there, and they closed him in while he was still alive. That was freaky. And there was just a lot of like old white men, and I couldn't even keep them straight. I was like, are you good or bad? I don't even. So, and a lot of them died in car bombs or bombs. There were a lot of bombs.
That's the number one cause of death among rich white men.
Car bombs.
Is car bombs. Yeah. Little did we know.
You know, now that I think about it, I feel like 1998, that that was like the fear. Like, I feel like bombs were like, I don't know. I just remember like hearing about bombs all the time in 1998.
Well, wasn't
bomb threats and stuff.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. You're right. At the time,
Oklahoma City was around then, wasn't it?
I was just gonna say, wasn't the whole Timothy McVeigh Oklahoma was around then? So I think it was part of the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Sadly, part of the zeitgeist at the time. But you're right that that they are a little bit hard to keep track of in the movie, and I think what it speaks to from a plot standpoint is it shows how you have this group of people who are basically the string pullers in the world,
right?
And they're manipulating and controlling everything. They're kind of like the evil 1%ers.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. Well, okay. Do you you remember like towards the beginning where the bomb was in the vending machine?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And and the FBI guy just sat there in front of it. Was he like part of the conspiracy? Yeah. So, okay, who was he? I didn't even really get that.
They never really went into depth on who he was. And I don't know how he got elected to do that. Maybe his family was promised a bunch of money or something. I really don't know. But basically he was an agent who was
like Hydra.
Yeah, sort of following orders, for whatever reason, to supposedly defuse this bomb, but he just sits there and doesn't do it, and then that leads to the cover up of the deaths from the alien virus, and so it again, it's a demonstration of trust no one, and you don't know what people's ulterior motives are and who's working to what.
Yeah.
To what ends.
And there was that other guy who like took Mulder into the car, or I think he even killed Kurzweil and put him in the trunk. And then he took Mulder and he was like, yeah, I've been ordered to kill you. And then Mulder's like, say what? And then he's like, oh, boom. And he shoots the driver. And then Mulder's like, say what? And then he's like,
right.
And he's like, trust no one. And he tells Mulder to go, and he gives him the vaccine antidote thing, and then Mulder is walking away, and then the guy gets back in the car and closes it, and the car explodes. It's like, I don't know. I just feel like everybody was bombing themselves. So right. I mean, I guess he did that just because he gave the antidote, and he figured he would be killed for doing that or something. Yeah. But yeah, I don't even know. I mean, I'm serious. I didn't even know who that guy was. Like, there was like so many old white men that I could not keep it straight.
Yeah. No, I think that's
need to watch it again.
Criticism.
I rented it from a website that I don't want to advertise because we're not getting paid to. And I get it for 30 days.
30 days, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm gonna probably watch it again.
It's not Pamazon.
It's Pamazon. Yeah.
Pamazon.
Yeah. But yeah, 30 days.
Wow. That's pretty generous.
Yeah.
You could watch it on loop for 30 days straight and then see how you feel.
I don't think I would be afraid of aliens anymore at that point.
Probably not. There's something to be said for desensitization.
Exposure. Yeah.
Desensitization.
I did that on purpose. I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I used it.
Desensitization. All right, God. Let's move on.
Okay.
All right.
So that was a girly burp. So anyway, yeah. I'm trying to think of like what else. Oh. So I was texting with somebody about watching this movie, and he informed me of this website called scullysface.tumblr.com.
What?
You have to look at it. And also, he was like, so what's going on now? How are Mulder and Scully? And I was like, oh, Scully has been stung by a alien virus bee, and Mulder is on Hoth. Because it's like, it was just like funny to me how they had that in Antarctica. It was like basically Hoth.
This site is great.
I know, isn't it awesome?
She just gives. She does nothing but give him the stink eye.
I know, and they're all like captions. So you should.
Yeah.
The one, okay, so actually I posted one that he had screenshotted and sent me. It's on our Twitter. It's funny. You should look at that. It's just Scully giving him the stink eye, and it goes, "Mulder, don't do the thing." And then there's a picture of Mulder like walking away, like, and it says, "Scully, I'm gonna do the thing." That's like exactly the plot of like every episode of
it.
X-Files.
Pretty much is. Yeah.
Don't do the thing. I'm gonna do the thing.
That's the only thing in the show Bible besides the character descriptions.
Yeah.
The overarching plot is I'm gonna do the thing.
Yeah.
Don't do the thing. I'm gonna do the thing.
Yeah.
Totally.
So that's a good little Tumblr.
Yeah, that's very good. Scully's Face. .tumblr.com. That's excellent. I'll tell you one thing I like about this movie.
What?
Is they swear.
I know, right?
Yeah. So it's like, oh my gosh, it's a movie, and now we can say shit.
I know. And also the music, by the way, is really awesome. Yeah.
Well, it's super cool because you take somebody who's really talented. His name is Mark Snow. That's not how the words go.
No.
X-Files is a show
with music by Mark Snow.
Yeah. Yeah, you take somebody with his talent and give him an 80-piece orchestra.
Yep.
And he's
time.
Pretty rad. And time to work on it. Exactly.
Yeah, because
that's the other key component.
There was a cool part. Trying to think what the scene was, but it was you look like so guilty. So the scene was something, I don't know, there was like a beep happening, and the music went with the beep. It was really cool. Like, he timed it. No one really does that. It was like I don't know, it was like an alarm or something beeping, and the drums were like suspenseful, but they were like, the tempo was that of the beep that was in the scene. So I thought that was pretty cool. I don't think that happens very often. I think the music usually is like not really exactly, it doesn't necessarily admit that it's like in the movie, you know?
Right.
And yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It seemed very Mark Snow. Because I was like, you know what? That's something that he would do in the show. Because he, like we were talking about how he composed like as he watched it. That would seem like something that he would do like while he was free composing. Yeah,
the TV show has a lot of music as sound effects kind of thing. And that kind of carried over to the movie.
Yeah. Totes my goats.
Yeah. So I thought I don't necessarily want to wrap up the episode just yet, but maybe to just wrap up the thoughts about the movie and to talk briefly about what we might want to watch for the show next week. So Megan and I had talked offline about how many episodes we would talk about X-Files and kind of how we would want to format the show in general in the future. And we are going to do like one more episode of the X-Files for now, because that's kind of one of our things is we've decided to not, as we go through our journey of hope, rage, and discovery, we don't necessarily want to put any particular thing we discuss, to bed forever, so to speak. So it's very possible that at some point down the line, we'll come back to the X-Files and talk about it more. But we are going to do one more episode, at least for now. And it's going to be kind of a lot to watch because I'm going to suggest 4 episodes, but I think it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
I think it'll be worth it.
I'm a pro Netflix binger.
You totally are. You're actually way better at it than I am.
Yeah, it's because I have no
in
life.
terms of watching. Well, I've got no life either. I just have a different no life than most people apparently. So what we're gonna do is, we've been talking periodically over the last couple episodes about how there were big changes to X-Files in terms of the cast and
oh right, yeah.
The plot arc.
I want to see some of that.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit the season 7 finale. Okay. So season 7, episode 22. It's called Requiem. And spoiler alert. This is the episode where Mulder leaves the show as a regular character.
Okay.
And so we're going to watch that. You might cry a little bit.
Mulder.
And then we're going to watch the immediate follow-up to that episode. So season 8, episode 1. It's called Within. And then we're just going to jump right to the end of the series with the final 2 episodes of the show. So season 9, The Truth, and then The Truth Part 2.
Sweet.
And so we'll
those
see.
Are tantalizing titles for.
Yeah. So, the benefit of anybody who's watching along with us, who hasn't necessarily seen the whole show and doesn't care to watch every single episode, is this is going to give you the taste of what happens to cause Mulder to leave the FBI, what's going on with him, and then we have the benefit of seeing the final resolution of the series. Sweet. Now, there was a movie that they did years later, so it wasn't the end of the X-Files, but we'll kind of see how the TV series wrapped up.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Good. I know it's, like I said, kind of a big viewing assignment, but I think if we want to spend one more week talking about X-Files and then move on to some other stuff, then that's going to give us the smorgasbord experience that we so desire.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think the other thing we kind of wanted to do a little bit with Nerd Novice, I don't know, because you had mentioned that you didn't want to necessarily wrap up the episode yet.
Right.
Was kind of have a little bit more variety for the episodes, talk a little bit more about other stuff.
Yeah.
So I think there have been, what was on your mind that you wanted to talk about this time, by the way?
Well, I was just thinking about, there's some things that I've been watching lately besides X-Files that were worth mentioning.
There's a lot of new shows on the air and
season
premieres and whatnot. So we have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which, to be honest, I haven't watched the second episode yet. I'll probably catch up on that later. But so the first episode of that was pretty sweet. Yes. And I realized that I had been missing a lot in this. This is the second season, right? Yeah. So I'm okay. And actually, to be, how I am always like way delayed on everything. I watch things like months later after they come out. I just watched Captain America 2 like a few weeks ago. So I saw the whole like Hydra infiltrating S.H.I.E.L.D. plot for the first time.
Right.
And so I guess, with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that was kind of incorporating that plot line. So I feel like I want to go back and watch it because the first episode of season 2 was really awesome. It seems like it's going to be a lot better than it wasn't, like, kind of like the mid-beginning of season 1 was like...
Right.
Meh.
Yeah.
But this, like, they had Absorbing Man or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like, cause it was cool to have like the superhero stuff, which I felt like they weren't. That's why one of the reasons why everyone was kind of like, what is this? There's no Marvel-ness to this, you know?
Right. Right.
So have you been watching it on TV?
I have. Yeah, I have. And I'm really excited to see what they're doing with season 2. If a person maybe is new to Agents of Shield, or tried it and left it and is interested in coming back, I would say if you maybe went back to like the last 4 episodes, maybe 5 of the first season, then you would probably pick up on the good stuff.
Right.
In terms of what the show is turning into. But I really, you know, I'm of two minds with this. On one hand, when they talked about Agents of Shield, they proposed it as like, well, this is the show about the other stuff that happens in the Marvel universe.
Right.
And on one hand, I totally get that, and it's cool. But at the same time, after a while in the show, it felt like they were going too far astray from, well, this doesn't really have any connection that's meaningful to what we know and love about the Marvel universe.
Right.
So it was a little bit hard to get into. And now that they're getting more into the use of, in this case, a super villain with Absorbing Man, then you start to feel like, okay, so we get it. So this isn't Thor and Captain America and Tony Stark having shawarma, but it is feeling like a part of their universe.
Right. I mean, there's so many characters in Marvel that aren't in movies yet. I mean, there's plenty of material to use. And I think that's why people were getting a little bit annoyed, because it's like, okay, well, we expected that we would be able to see characters we know from comic books, but we're not seeing even that. So,
yeah. So I really appreciate it for that.
Yeah.
Another one that I've been watching and I think is interesting so far is Forever.
You like it? I don't like it.
It's in. I can't say I like it yet. Because part of me wants to say, oh, it's like Highlander MD.
Yeah, that's what it is. Because I wrote the review on that too, and I was saying how I was disappointed how it's not Highlander, and it's just another freaking crime drama. How many crime dramas do we need? Especially medical crime dramas.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, that's like, they need to just like move beyond that. Like, it's really irritating. I mean, I saw, I think 2 episodes of it. I didn't see it this past week because I think it's on, when is it on? Tuesdays? Mondays?
It's on Tuesdays.
Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And I had a ton of homework this Tuesday night, so I didn't watch like anything on TV. So I did like a few parts of it, but it was just not, I don't know. I was just like, ugh, it just seems like it's going to be like any other. There's no supernatural emphasis, like, yeah, he's immortal, but it's almost like it's almost like he's like, I don't know,
it's too much of the B plot for you.
Yeah, it's too much of the B plot. Yeah. I feel like I really like shows when they have the, I say supernatural because I don't want to say like fantasy or sci-fi because that's kind of a genre. But when they have like any sort of non-realistic element, mystical element to them, sure. I like when they use that as a more, plot device in a bigger way, where, I don't know, I would like to explore that element of it better than it's doing right now. Mm-hmm. It just seems like, I don't know, like he is an ME and, he's immortal, but it could just be that he, like the girl from Bones, like she's really good at what she does. Okay. Like it could just be like a skill like that. Like he almost just uses it like it's just part of his portfolio, you know? Like
Right.
I'm immortal, so I don't really care that I'm climbing on the bridge and I might get hit by a car, but I'm looking for evidence in this what I think is a murder, and just cuz I'm immortal, I could do it and not worry. Like
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
Like
I get
use
what
it
you're saying.
more. Yeah.
I get what you're saying. It's interesting to me. I think I'll give it another couple episodes.
Yeah.
Um, I totally happened on it by chance. Like I hadn't really seen any previews.
Oh,
So
I saw commercials like nonstop for it.
yeah. Uh, do you? I forget. I'm sorry. Do you watch Big Bang Theory?
My mom and dad watch it, and so
Yeah.
if they're home watching it, I'll
Mm-hmm.
watch, but I'm not
Yeah.
that big of a fan.
Yeah. So it's back too, and I like Big Bang Theory. I know that it's a controversial
Yeah, everyone's
show
like,
in the nerd sphere.
yeah, I have some points of conversation about that, but
Yeah, I mean, I like it.
I like it too. I mean, I'm not like seeking it out, but I like it.
Yeah, it's kind of, on one hand, it's really just more of the same in terms of the new season, but there are some new aspects to it that are good. You were live tweeting Castle, and I haven't
And Forever.
watched the episode yet, but I can't wait because that's such a good show.
Oh, I love that show.
I'm probably gonna watch that this afternoon.
Yeah, you should. Well, I haven't. I've only seen it like sporadically on TV,
Mm-hmm.
except for the 6th season, because it was streaming online, the whole thing for
Mhm.
free. So, I watched the whole 6th season. So that
Mhm.
kind of made me
Mhm.
get, you know, like the general plot
Mhm.
line of it. But yeah, I really like that show. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing some live tweeting on Nerd Novice, so I think it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I get like, I guess it's just because in 2014 we can't do one thing at a time. We have to do multiple things. So like when I'm watching TV, I like to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
So I just use my iPad.
Yeah. Well, it's funny how being distracted while you watch the show is also enabling you to kind of get more into the show
Yeah.
at the same time. So
It might also be the reason why I missed them saying that it had been 2 months time, because I think I was probably spending too much time tweeting. But whatever. It's still and plus like it's fun to it does cause some interaction on Twitter, and you know, people get in conversations even if they don't follow you, they'll find the hashtag and they might respond. So I've been having conversations with people and stuff. So I like doing that. So yeah, it works out.
Yeah, I love internet conversations.
Yeah.
Internet friends.
The internet is so full of educational things.
Yes, it is.
Lots of information.
Yep.
Contrary to what I said earlier in this episode.
It's not just porn and
right.
you know, yucky stuff.
Fan fiction.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a good like news story about fan fiction. Did you hear about the like super evangelical mom who rewrote Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone so that it would be appropriate for her children to read?
Oh my God, no.
It's like she rewrote the book totally.
Wow.
And like it's basically that the Dursleys are atheists and Harry is going to go to like Christian school or something.
Of course. Wow.
It's pretty bad.
Okay, well, it's each their own.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, I have no problem against that, to each their own thing, but it's just like it's like taking it too far. Whew.
I find it interesting that well, I don't know. People see what they want to see in books and movies and TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I don't know, just saying, but like if you think things with fantasy elements are the devil, then why do so many Christians appreciate, rightfully so, the C.S. Lewis.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah. Yeah. And plus, Harry Potter is like almost totally a Jesus story in the end. So I don't know. I mean, there's some resurrection there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. People see what they want to see. But anyway, what were we talking about before that? Because I had another. Oh, Gotham. Have you seen it yet?
No.
Me neither. But it was just on like last night or something.
We should probably check
that. Or the night before. Yeah, whenever it was on. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out too. I totally want to watch it. We should. Yeah. We should make it a point.
Yes.
To watch it.
Point. I'll tell you, I learned something.
What did you learn?
You can learn a lot listening to podcasts.
It's true.
I learned
especially ours.
Especially ours. Because I'm going to tell you what I learned on another podcast, on our podcast. Thus, our podcast is educational.
Okay.
They were talking about pointing and how this was on
We Have Concerns.
Yeah,
I heard it.
So they were talking about how people who work at the Disney parks are trained to point with their middle and index fingers. Because in some cultures, pointing with your index finger is an inappropriate gesture.
Right. Well, flight attendants do it too.
Yes, they do.
Exits are this way. And that way.
Oh, that was good. That was 3D. Whoa. Nice.
Yeah. No, it's so true. Yeah, I found that podcast is pretty funny, by the way.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Gotham, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Forever, Castle. There's a lot. Oh, Haven, new season, which I have only seen the first episode, and I think there's been 2 or 3 already. Or no, there's another one tonight. So, and I'm gonna be working. This is what happens. So, there's a lot of shows on now, like tons of shows to endeavor to watch. So, luckily, there's the internet where we can watch them when we missed them.
It's a good time to be a couch potato with deferred viewing ability. Yeah. Good stuff.
Totally.
All right, folks. Dokes.
Oh my God. What were you even trying to say?
I was going to say, all right, folks.
That's all, folks.
That's all, folks.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think we're probably good to go for this week.
The cane is coming out.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, hey, because we're maybe potentially getting new viewers on YouTube, you could check us out on Twitter at Nerd Novice and nerdnovice.com. And you can also find us on iTunes. Subscribe on iTunes to the podcast if you just like the audio version. Say you're in your car and you're commuting or something. Our voices will help you through the traffic and through the awful journey to work at 8 a.m. in the morning.
Yes.
So, yeah. Any other comments there, Jim? No. So, okay. All right. Well, that was fun. Check us out next time.
Yeah, check it out. The live, I just want to tell everybody you should definitely check out Nerd Novice on Twitter and not just our individual Twitter accounts, because the live tweeting Megan's doing is a hoot.
I'm a hoot, guys.
Yeah.
I'm a hoot. But you can check us out too on Twitter.
Yes. I'm Jay Metzendorf. She is Megan Paletti. And thank you for listening.
Yeah.
That's all.
All right. Peace
Bye.
out. Bye.